Can we all agree that we have more in common than we have different? Well, I want to see who's big enough to own up when they agree with the other side. Painful as it is, that's the real story today. You know, I'm always talking about trying to stop the divisiveness, and you can do that by finding things that we agree on, and we can agree that we want everyone to be healthy, right? It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican, and certainly when we're talking about children, there aren't any Democrat children, aren't Republican children, just children. So what can we agree on here? We should be able to agree that President Trump's executive order to lower prescription drug prices is not a good thing. It's a great thing. My God, it's about time.
It's about time.
Who isn't happy about this except the pharmaceutical companies? I mean, come on. Today's real story is going to prove that some people will never, ever give credit to President Trump or RFK Jr. for something that people on both sides of the aisle have been crying about and begging for years. Let's look at some headlines. Trump signs executive order aimed at slashing prescription drug costs. Pharma is facing nightmare scenario. Trump signs executive order that aims to slash drug prices by at least 50%. Trump signs executive order seeking to lower U.S. drug costs by challenging prices in other countries. Those headlines, how long have you been waiting to hear those?
You know how long I've been waiting for this?
Americans pay almost 3 times more for prescription drugs than 33 other nations. And for brand name drugs, they pay more than 4 times other nations. And for certain drugs, the price is absolutely ridiculous. Get this. Ozempic, the weight loss drug, well, it's really supposed to be for diabetes, but the weight loss drug in New York, $1,300. London, $88. Insulin in the U.S., you pay 10 times more than you do in France or the U.K. There's a blood pressure medication, amlodipine, costs 11 times more in the U.S. than in South Africa. I mean, come on. This is the same makeup, comes out of the same test tube. It doesn't make any sense at all. Now, how big a deal is this? Well, it's a big deal because U.S. taxpayers spend hundreds of billions with a B dollars on medications through Medicare. That covers 70 million older Americans. And that's on top of tens of billions of dollars to Medicaid for 80 million poor or disabled people. Now, that's a lot of money affecting a lot of people. So what does this executive order do? Well, first off, it sets a 30-day deadline for drug makers to lower the cost of prescription drugs in the U.S. And it empowers the health department, led by RFK Jr., to broker new, lower drug prices. And if that doesn't get done, he can enforce the most favored nation pricing, which matches U.S. prices to those of other wealthy countries. Now, that's a big deal. And the Department of Commerce can take all appropriate action against countries that are jacking up prices. Now, why are they so high? Well, the U.S. government doesn't regulate prices like the other countries do, and drug manufacturers get exclusivity for new drugs, allowing them to set high prices without competition. Look, if you want companies to spend money on research, they're going to have to be able to charge for what they do. No question about it. I get that. But there has to be some control. And what they're doing is exploiting this because there's a period of time for exclusivity before the generics can come along. But what they do is they make minor changes to the drugs to stretch this exclusivity program. They stretch the period. And how do they do it? They make little minor tweaks to the drug, and they call this evergreening. It leads to unreasonable delays before generics get approved. And it just doesn't make sense. Now, they say, okay, look, there's a reason for this. We need it for research. They need it for R&D. But when you look at it, that's not where that money's going. It's going to pay shareholders. It's not going all into R&D. If it was, maybe, but that's not where it's going. Now, this is an example of the Trump administration putting people above politics. You want to know who RFK is crediting for this? Bernie Sanders. He's crediting Bernie Sanders for this, for setting this in motion. The same Bernie Sanders who was giving grief during the hearings, whether you get approval for RFK or not.
And are you going to commit to us that you will end that absurdity?
I think in principle we can. We should end that disparity.
Good. Okay.
He was saying, well, are you going to cave to Big Pharma? Well, yeah, apparently not. But listen, I love that. I love to hear him say Bernie Sanders is one that pushed on this. And Bernie put out a press release that said, I agree with President Trump on this. It's an outrage that American people pay by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. Hooray for Bernie Sanders pushing on this, and hooray for RFK Jr. and President Trump for saying, hey, good job, Bernie. Thanks for pushing on this. The liberal media is also not happy. Whoopi Goldberg on The View calls the plan meaningless.
He didn't specify which drugs he's going to target or which insurance programs would be impacted, because you see, if you're going to lower the price of the drugs, you got to first fix the broken insurance company because it doesn't make any sense.
Really? Come on. When somebody does it right, when they get it right, give them credit for getting it right. Look, the details have to be figured out. But you got to start somewhere on this. Is it going to need tweaking? Of course it's going to need tweaking. But somebody finally is taking this head on. Somebody finally is not selling out to corporate capture. Somebody is finally saying, let's get these drugs down to somewhere that's reasonable where people can afford it. So in the very near term, you're going to be paying a whole lot less for medications that you deserve. Medications you need at a price you can afford. Everybody should be celebrating this, not taking pot shots back and forth and finding a little hole, a little problem. So stand up, applaud. They did something right whether you like it or you don't. And if it's got a hole in it, we'll find it. We'll figure a way to patch it. But in the meantime, good job on prescription drugs. That's the real story. Thanks for watching. Make sure to follow and subscribe to The Real Story, available on podcast players and on YouTube, where I'm going to be telling you what's really going on. I don't care if the left likes it, the right likes it, whatever. I'm just going to tell you the truth. And I have a good time doing it. Thanks. Let's discuss preparedness, because we know emergencies happen when we least expect them, but instead of just taking it, we can prepare. Let's discuss Jace Case, one of your most important preparation tools. With Jace Case, you'll have emergency prescription medications on hand right when you need them. Think about it. Ever been caught off guard? Whether it's a sudden illness or a travel hiccup, the right medications can make all the difference. Jace Case is designed to take that worry off your plate, so when a minor health issue pops up, it doesn't turn into a major problem. Don't let unforeseen circumstances derail your plans or your peace of mind. Live with confidence. Take charge with Jace today. Visit jace.com and use code PHIL for a discount on your order, and get emergency antibiotics on hand for the moment you need them. That's JASE.com, code PHIL, PHIL.